keep track.
Well,
It's just fascinating, you keep going, and then then everything is in, there's a property the inspector didn't hire us to speak on it, so then he inspected all the others around and cleared off from the big, where they and all sorts of things. But we don't get a whole bunch. I have a lot of people that didn't want some, and we go around and get them.
We got two in our yard. This year we got a bunch. In few of the years past, we haven't had any. Yeah. So we got a bunch this year.
Well, if you put them in the
You should start to worry about me.
oh, hi, Katie. Yeah. Yeah. If I agree with this all that.
Yes, and those are a little bit bigger than that. You know, usually it's okay, but. You did get.
I've tried to be done the whole life.
Everybody else tries the opposite. One of them said, well, there we go. We're always, always.
Well, not a lot of them. I mean, that was in Helps Big. That's where we had to stop.
Good evening. Welcome to the Coppell City Commission meeting for Tuesday, November 12, 2019. Please stand for the invocation and remain. Please stand for the invocation led by John Dixon and remain saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll spit it out down here.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for the privilege, Lord, that we have here together tonight. Lord, we just thank you for the many provisions you provide, Lord, even with the cold weather, Lord, we just thank you for the change of season. But we pray that you be with us tonight, Lord, as we have this meeting, as you be with the council and the commissioners and the people that are here today. Pray that, Lord, that you would give us insight. Pray that, Lord, that you would give us wisdom. Pray that, Lord, that you would help us to have every decision, everything that we do for the betterment, Lord, of the city. And we just thank you, Lord, for the privilege that we have, Lord, for the people that are willing to serve. And we ask that you would just be upon us today as we have this hearing and as we have the opportunity to have this meeting. And I pray that, Lord, that you would just be glorified today with everything that goes on. We ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Take roll call.
Mayor Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Doan.
Here.
Commissioner Van Noster.
Here.
And Commissioner Taylor has been called away on business.
Correct.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving to consent agenda. First item, City Commission meeting minutes for Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019, and 2019 appropriation ordinance number AO-19-21 in the amount of $2,936,584.38. Questions, comments, or amendments to these two items on the consent agenda?
I have just a few things. I know sometimes people have mentioned, when you're asking questions about and you approve a rather large appropriation ordinance. A lot of these things come up that we have voted on in a contract before, such as this deals with the $2,900,000, this time deals with $725,000 is for the street surface seal and the parking lot surface seal projects that we did. And then we have $114,000 that goes for the 10th Street CDBG construction project. We have $74,000 that we pay the Kansas Department of Revenue, and that involves licenses, taxes, permits, fees, and water fees for the third quarter. And we also this time we have, which is unusual, happens about once a quarter, we have two payroll periods in this month's appropriation ordinance. That's $750,000. So that is some of the differences and things that come up. So a lot of it is repetitive for us because they're repeats on contracts for supplies that we already approved a long time ago, but it's just the billing out of it. So just everybody know that we do look at them and we do ask questions, but we try to do that probably before our meeting so that we can move along. That's all I've got.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Van Noster. Any other questions or comments regarding these two items? If none, I'll approve the motion as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved to approve the consent agenda item. Mayor Bauer.
Aye.
Commissioner Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Noster.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye. This time we'll move into the public hearing, special presentation, proclamations. Tonight we have a Buddy Pop proclamation. So if you'll step up to the podium, come down.
Hey, Mark. I got a text that says the sound's not on.
I don't see this perspective. So, whereas the annual sale of Buddy Poppies by the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States has been officially recognized and endorsed by governmental leaders since 1922, and whereas VFW Buddy Poppies are assembled by disabled veterans, and the proceeds of this worthy fundraising campaign are used exclusively for the benefit of disabled and needy veterans, and the widows and orphans of deceased veterans, and whereas the basic purpose of the annual sale of Buddy Poppies by the Veterans of Foreign Wars is eloquently reflected in the desire to honor the dead by healing the living. Now, therefore, I, Paul Bauer, Mayor of the City of Coffeyville, Kansas, declare Saturday, November 9th, 2019 as Buddy Poppy Day in Coffeyville, and do hereby urge the citizens of this community to recognize the merits of this cause by contributing generously to its support through the purchase of Buddy Poppies on the day set aside for the distribution of these symbols of appreciation for the sacrifices of our honored dead. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
He's going to present that. They're actually having an auxiliary meeting at the VFW right now, so he's going to present that to the auxiliary. That's why he's leaving. That was a good timing, right? At this time, we'll move into item 2. Coffeyville Fire Department was awarded by Plains Pipeline LP a grant for new fire hose. Fire Chief Billy Cockman will provide comments.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. Everybody else who came tonight. You know, when I first got here, I was confused why I couldn't get the city manager to sign off on a contract that I didn't work when it was 40 degrees or below. And they all laughed at me, but I can tell you one thing, I should have fought a little harder. Monday, I got me some. I'm actually going to talk about 2 grants that we got. One didn't get it put in the agenda. The first one, we will talk about the grant for $6,200, and that is for new fire hose. And that came from the Plains Pipeline Company. They came out here in September and asked could they do a demonstration and give us some class on some of their pipeline issues that they have out there. And we said, absolutely. We're all about training. And then they gave us a piece of paper to fill out a grant, and we jumped on it. I have, since I've been here, put together a grant writing team, 2 lieutenants, 1 captain, and a civilian. So we're jumping on a lot of grants. And we were pleased to see the fast turnaround on this one. It's for $6,220, and it's to replace the fire hose in our fire engines. I don't know if everybody knows, but we're probably a little behind on some of the equipment. Some of the fire hoses are almost 40 years old. That can be a big issue, especially while we're out there trying to fight fire, and it could cause safety hazards. So we're more than thrilled with this, and our long-term goal now is to buy a little at a time. But we'd probably be good for 10 years here unless something just goes wrong, and we do have warranty on that, so I'm very pleased with that. I want to thank Tux Jackson. He was the damage prevention specialist who came in, taught the class, and gave us the ability to fill out for the grants. When they bring the check, we'll get a nice little picture with him because he'll have to have that for his company also. But we just wanted to make sure that the commission knows that that's going to save the city about $7,000 almost in hose. Also, last year they filled out a grant. That's for the hazmat. Us being the hazmat regional team for 11 counties, we're in a good position to fill out for a lot more grants than most. And we did receive a $21,000 grant last month, and I wanted to talk about that. That's going to replace and to purchase level A suits. And for those who don't know what a level A suit, that's when the firefighters put on those suits look like astronauts walking around. You know, that's to keep us out of special chemicals and help keep them safe. So that's, we purchased suits for that and new air bottles that go along with that and also can be used for fires. So that saves the city about $21,000 and it's very needed equipment. I also want to say that the grant writing team and I have started aggressively putting in for grants, and I think we kind of fell back on that for the past few years. And I do believe I have an unofficial word. I don't want to speak out of turn yet, but I think we're going to get about $50,000 grant for new gear that we have applied for. So I'm hoping for that to come through. I'm pretty sure that's happening. And I will say, next year, we're going to probably double the grants of what we got this year. So the commission can be ready to see us some more up here.
Very good.
That's all
Great.
fantastic. All good news to hear. So
Yes,
thank
sir.
you very
Yes,
much.
you.
Very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
This time we'll move into new business. Resolution R-19-66, a resolution to execute a work authorization agreement with Algier Martin and Associates, Inc. for design, bidding, and construction phase engineering services for installing an advanced metering infrastructure, AMI, system for water and electric utilities. Public Works, our Public Service Director, Chuck Shively.
Public Works.
Yeah. Well, she has it as public service.
We've previously discussed the benefits of an advanced metering infrastructure system for the water and electric utilities to improve meter reading accuracy and provide many capabilities that aren't available with our current manual meter reading system. This proposed resolution authorizes a work authorization agreement with Alger Martin and Associates for design, bidding, and construction phase engineering services for completion of the proposed AMI system. The fees paid will be based on actual hours worked on the project times their standard fees, not to exceed $65,000. So, city water and electric utility staff recommend approval of the resolution authorizing the proposed engineering services work authorization agreement. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And Mike Shook's here if any of them are electric side.
Questions? So I know AMI has been a kind of a hot topic for the last couple years since I've been on the commission, and we've went through several phases of it. It seems like when we were with Johnson Control, and now we're going to try to do this apparently on our own, it sounds like.
With some consultants.
Right. What are our concerns
Our concerns for.
with just the overall project itself? Implementation, or it sounded like, so when we were going through Johnson Control, it sounded like this was quite an undertaking to be able to
And it is
implement
quite an
this.
undertaking. We've identified the funding source from the electric utility and the water utility, which the electric utility has the funds available. The water utility will be a low-interest loan through KDHE at, I believe it's 1.73%.
Yeah, I think that's what was in our pamphlet.
Other concerns, Mike? I don't know.
So I guess, do we have can we speculate about what we think this is going to cost us prior to? I mean, do we have an idea roundabout? I mean, I know that it was
most of us-
extremely expensive when we were going the other direction.
We're hoping for a little less cost this time going this route.
Yeah,
As Chuck indicated, using Algier Martin, we're quite familiar with that engineering firm.
sure.
They're going to guide us through the steps. Hopefully, we'll get some good pricing on the equipment.
Mhm.
I don't think we've got any major concerns other than just getting it all implemented and going through the installation process.
And this will be on, so I assume this is going to be us implementing it instead of having a third party come in
No,
and do.
we will have a third party come in, but we'll have Algier Martin oversee the project.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I was gonna say that the city is the driving force and will approve the installation, the contractor. The city will go through all that and review. Alger Martin will provide the inspection and oversight.
Sure.
So this is gonna be our baby, and we hope to save not hundreds of thousands, but possibly a million or so. So
Yeah.
Okay.
it's a well-needed project.
And if you don't mind, just for the benefit, so that people understand what we're doing with this AMI system, I'm going to read off the benefits that you've got in the background here. It'll include potential for remote connects and disconnects, reducing truck rolls and employee safety, customer prepay options, time of use billing, customer portal, outage and leak reporting, and real-time view, and enhancing customer service abilities. So there'll be a lot,
Just to name a few.
down.
Exactly.
Do what?
Exactly. That's just a few
Okay.
of many more.
And I understand that the readings will be, I mean, this will be a more accurate system.
In real time.
Not that,
Real time.
yeah, okay. Okay. All right.
Any other questions from the commission?
We've been over and over in this for the last 2.5 years. I don't have any questions because I'm asked so many questions over the last 2.5 years. I can't think of anything else to ask.
All right.
I'm good. I'm glad we're going this route. You know, we were gonna spend a whole lot of money before, and we kind of put the brakes on because we, you know, didn't quite feel right about it, and I think it's a good decision.
I do too.
I guess I do have a question. Who's going to be overseeing this project for the city? Both of you combined, or one of you, or two
Oh,
of you?
yeah, we can work together on it.
Okay,
Him and Jim will be over the water, I'll be over the electric, and
okay. So you guys,
staff will be involved as well.
It'll be a conglomerate effort between all departments?
Absolutely.
Okay,
And customer service.
right.
And,
Okay.
and like you said, the water will come, the funding for the project, later will come, you'll try to do that through a loan, right?
Right,
Low rate
and-
interest loan.
That loan has been approved. It's a
Okay,
matter of
so it's already-
formality, filling out all the
Okay.
applications.
And then the other part will be from the new generation
It'll be-
plant. Once again, the bond proceeds.
Left
that-
savings from the new generation
Right.
project.
So it's savings that you all did by watching that project closely, and now we'll be able to help pay for this, should we proceed. And,
That is
so it's
correct.
passing those savings on to the customers.
Absolutely, and those
Okay.
funds, as we've mentioned before, can only be used for
For
system
improvements.
improvements for the electric system.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so that's good. It sounds great. I move to approve resolution number R-19-66 as presented.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved by Commissioner Van Oster and seconded by Commissioner Williams to approve Resolution R-1966, a resolution to execute a work authorization agreement with Alger Martin and Associates, Inc. for design, bidding, and construction phase engineering services for installing an advanced metering infrastructure, AMI system for water and electric utilities. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Mayor Bauer.
Aye.
And Commissioner Doan.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Resolution number R-19-67, a resolution to authorize execution of 2 local agreements between the City of Coppeville and Zagster, Inc. for 2 bicycle kiosks. Superintendent of Engineering, Thomas Osborne, will make comments.
We actually have a short video, and then I'm going to have Samantha and Janie come up and talk about this program, because I don't really know anything about it, but
That works for me.
And that was it.
Samantha and Janie. Janie's with the Coffeyville Area Enhancement Foundation, and then Samantha's with the Chamber of Commerce. So they'll
Very
kinda
good.
talk about where this is coming from and how we.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm going to give you guys a little brief about how this call came about, and Janie's going to talk the finance part because she's our finance lady. So we noticed a lot of other communities in Kansas were doing bike shares, and kind of conversation come up with me and Janie about this would be really cool to bring to Coffeyville. So Janie had reached out a few weeks after we talked about it and said, are you going to apply for a grant with the foundation? I was like, for what? And she's like, the bike share program. And I was kind of nervous, like, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll do this. So the more we talked about it, we started looking into bike share. And there's two types of bike shares that are really out there in Kansas. So there's a manually checkout where people do have, like, communities have bikes, and you can go into a business and check it out and then come back and bring that bike back when you're done. And then there's the 24-hour app-based bike. Of course, the app-based does come with a lot more cost, so we were kind of thinking, is this something we can do or not? We really wanted, the more we talked about it, we said, if we're going to do this, we want to do this right. We don't want to just throw it together and just put something out there. So what we decided was we want to go with the app-based bikes. So we thought this would eliminate any barriers for anyone that maybe needed to ride a bike somewhere later in the evening if there's a business closed that couldn't check out a bike, or if that business was busy. It put a lot of attention on them to have to make that happen. So once we decided, okay, we're going to do the app-based bike, the great thing about that was they are GPS tracked. So after 6 months, we can get all the data on where the bikes were ridden to, how long they were gone for. So we think this is really great because we're going to know, are people going to doctor's appointments for this? Are they going to the grocery store? What is this, helping with a need? From my standpoint, I was really excited for visitors to be able to use this while they're in town, jump on a bike, take a tour, enjoy our town a little more too without having to drive place to place. So once we decided that, we noticed that some of the communities in Kansas were partnering with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas to get sponsored. So we thought, well, maybe this is an avenue we can go down. So we made a contact with someone from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas and talked to them. And they said, well, let's, put a grant in. So what we did was myself with Visit Coffeyville, Janie with Coffeyville Area Community Foundation, and Denise York with the Coffeyville's Reawakening partnered up to kind of collaborate and bring this to Coffeyville. So with that, I'm going to let Janie talk about the funding part.
So it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is a neat opportunity for Coffeyville. The Community Foundation is pleased to partner with Visit Coffeyville and Coffeyville's Reawakening, and we submitted the grant as partners, and it was successful, which is great. And in the memorandum of understanding with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas, which the Community Foundation signed for the partners, they recognized, I think it was an important fact that we submitted this as partners. So we did receive a 2-year commitment from them for $54,000 for the grant. And so we're working on that and processing it. But the piece of the Community Foundation is that we have signed the agreement, the memorandum of understanding, and that we will receive and administer the funds, and are the contact to sign agreements. So we signed with the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas for the grant, and they actually are the ones that select Zagster as the bike vendor. So we also have signed agreements with Zagster that specify their obligations, the Community Foundation obligations, and then the general terms and agreements or conditions of the contract. So the next step is several in the community met together and to determine potential site locations for the 3 bike station locations. So that's what's coming before you tonight is, and Thomas has all the specifications about that. But we're real excited about it for Coffeyville. It's wonderful. And we're really fortunate to have that. Sam will talk a little bit about a statewide program that this actually accepts us into their program through this, sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield, so, of Kansas. Thank you. We're
Thank you.
excited.
Thank you.
Definitely.
So just really quick about that statewide program, it's called CanCycle, and North Central Kansas actually kicked this off. And their goal is to get, bike sharing in rural Kansas in general. So they want to cover the whole state. And when we saw, what they're doing and how they're really getting a lot of communities that are interested in this, we thought we want to be on board with this. They have a great relationship with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas. They're also just promoting biking across Kansas, so we thought this would be great for us to be involved. We talked to Claire, who is the main person in charge of that, and she was like, we would love to have you. All we want is people riding bikes all over. And the whole deal was you can purchase a membership here or in Salina or any of their towns around, and then you can use your membership throughout the state. So if someone buys one here and they happen to be in Salina, let's say, they can use their membership that day there. They also have pay-as-you-go options. So if someone's like, I don't really want to buy a membership, I just want to ride here and there, you will pay, just as you go. An annual membership with them is $30 for the year, and that gets you 1 hour free every day. And then they have a student membership for $20. So we thought this would be great for our college kids here that might, not have a car. I always see people on 11th Street walking with bags. So that was one thing. The bikes will all have baskets. And we were really particular about that because we want to serve those college kids that are here and other people too that don't have transportation that can use this. So we're excited to be part of CanCycle and kind of see as everything unfolds. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's kind of how the bike share came about. They contacted me and got with, it was me with the city, David Rains, and then of course I've talked to several of the staff here on trying to find locations. One of the things that wasn't mentioned yet was it's 18 and older is the requirement on it. So it takes a lot of, so you immediately think bike share, well, why don't you put out your parks? Well, parks are more targeting the younger kids that wouldn't be able to use it. So we took another focus on, okay, what can we do and what kind of needs can we support? So that's where we came up with 3 locations. As Sam mentioned, the college, we want one there. We've been working with the college for a location there. And they're allowing the location to be on the west side of the Arts and Science Building, just south of the main steps. And then tonight, I'm bringing the other two locations to you guys tonight. The first one would be on the west end of the 9th Street Walk the Block grant. The kiosk area, we actually already built a little larger island there to make sure that there's space for this. And then the third was to be just outside the chamber, essentially on the east side of the chamber, adjacent to the large transformer there that's on the east side of the chamber there. So it still kind of tucked out of the way, hidden as far as historic pictures or anything like that. You can be able to take pictures without seeing a big bike stand there. We feel that's a good location, good access right there by the chamber. So, potentially in the future have a biking tours for tourists coming into Coffeyville or something like that. We did you guys hear back from the college on the name?
Yeah, that's, well, I haven't heard about, that's
Okay. So there's 3 stations. We're looking at the downtown station or at the chamber to be Dalton Defender Station. The Hall Street station was Colonel James A. Coffee, and then the one at the college is the Red Raven Station. So those are kind of the 3 stations. The reason we're bringing these to you guys is these 2 locations is it's on city right away or it's on city property. So that's what this agreement does. I didn't have any filled out agreements yet because we're still trying to get all the naming and everything finalized before. So, but we'll get those filled out if you guys approve and get them in for you guys to be signed. So be happy to try to answer any questions, and of course they're here as well.
So I'm going to show my ignorance here. So kind of from the video, if I pick it up at I forgot the names. I'm sorry. So if I'm at the chamber and say I want to go to Walmart. So I take my bike out to Walmart to keep from walking across that bridge. I'm biking across the bridge. You can hook there so it's secure, go into your shopping and then come back. Is that how it works?
So yes, you can hook it to anything that, you know, is small enough to actually hook around. So that's
Yeah.
another thing we want to look at is getting potentially more, you know, small bike racks, not the giant
Yeah.
ones these will be, but
Yeah.
something to secure the bikes. But yeah, I mean, pretty much like anything, and some businesses have bike racks. You can, you can hook it around anything if there is, you know, like any type of bike rack or anything like that. Obviously, don't want to hook them to signs. So there's
Yeah.
going to be some issues that we're going to try to work out,
Yeah.
you know, as time goes on. But that's kind of where we're at with that.
How many bikes are per bike rack?
Yeah, so to start out, there'll be, so there's 3 stations, 5 at each station. And is there 8 slots or 10? Okay, so there's actually 10 slots in each, right? So
Okay.
we assume that what will happen is maybe, you know, you don't have to return it to the same one you got it at.
Yeah.
So if a college kid says, oh, I'm going to jump on here, take it to Hall Street, and then my friend's picking me up, then they can leave it at that as long as you return it to a station. That's the most important part. And then let's say someone doesn't return it. The good thing about this is, and we hadn't mentioned yet, is they are looking to hire a part-time bike mechanic. So if you guys go on Indeed.com, you will see that job posting listed, which is directly through Zagster. So they hire, and we are trying to encourage anyone local because we want someone local to have that job. So what they do is that person will be in charge of, you know, they'll have the GPS, so they'll know if a bike gets left, you know, maybe midway through on 9th Street, they'll know where to get it and put it back. They take care of airing up the tires, cleaning off the bikes, anything wrong. They do all the maintenance. So we are completely hands-free from it, and that was another thing that was important because we didn't want us or, you know, the city anyone having to be like, oh, well, now we got to go find this bike. So we wanted that out of our hands where it was easy to do. So does that kind of answer about?
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Okay,
But, and as we're talking.
Yeah.
So what if somebody vandalizes the rack or the, not necessarily the bike where the mechanic could fix, but say they, you know, do something to the, I don't know. Who does that fall on?
So that'd be Zagster, I think. Zagster owns
Okay.
the property.
Okay.
So my guess is, you know, I mean, they would, it would go in Zagster's hands. So we're completely free of that. You know, if God forbid someone have an accident, I mean, you do sign off on that when you get the app. So everything
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
is, because we were very like, we had every question in the book, like, you know, well, what happens if it's used in a crime? And they're
Yeah.
like, you know, that's not on you guys. So.
Yeah.
So there, we had a list full of, because we were, you know, very skeptical about, we don't want to be,
Yeah.
you know, liable for a lot of, you know, just
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a lot that comes up. So, Jean, do you have any, I don't know if there's anything.
We will be receiving a certificate that shows the city of Coffeyville as an additional insured, as well as we can get one for the college as an additional insured for their station, for the Zagster's insurance. So,
Okay.
So you have to, number one, download an app on your cell phone.
Yes.
And then you have to buy a membership
Or pay by the hour.
or pay by the hour, but it's got to be hooked to your app's got to be hooked to a debit card or something like that before you can take the bike out and
Yes, sir. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
run
Which,
it around.
and, you know, when we've been talking about this for probably 9 months now, and originally we're like, we want this free. And the more we talked and the more we kind of dug into it, it kind of holds people responsible.
I
And
was
we
gonna
were.
say you're gonna have 10 bikes on Tuesday and no bikes on Wednesday.
Exactly.
if you
So,
don't.
you have to have, either a debit or credit card to check it out. And then once you check it out, if you don't return that bike, you are responsible for that. So, I mean, it's definitely holds people accountable, for that. Yeah.
So you can pay by the hour.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
how much
actually.
is-
By the minute, can't you?
I think it's 30 minutes. So I think they
Yeah.
do it by
Okay.
30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Can Cycle program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Can Cycle does, it's $1.50 every 30 minutes
Oh.
or the annual membership. Which if you get the annual membership and you ride, you're like, oh, I want to ride for 2 hours. It's a discounted rate for those additional hours each day.
Okay.
I actually thought it was, I actually think this is pretty cool because, you know, so you go to Tulsa and they have scooters all over downtown. So this is very similar to that, I
Yeah.
think. But I think it works into the wellness program, you know,
Yeah.
that that I think Marcy pointed out in an email to the commission today, that this really works into the fitness and
Yeah.
getting people involved in fitness. So I think it's a great idea.
Who's responsible if the bikes get stolen to replace them? Is it,
So that would be covered by Zagster, if I'm not, yeah, Zagster, which is the bike vendor, yeah.
And, you know, our responsibility in this is to notify them if there's vandalism or
and then
something,
who,
and so they can have their contact person on the ground here in our community take care of it.
and then who has access to the GPS on the, is it
So-
Daxter, is it
So
Chamber?
we'll
or-
have, any of us will have access to be able to like log in and see. So they'll give us reports every 6 months, but if we want to see that day, or, if there's an event going on, we should be able to log in the back end, and we're learning more on that to see like the, because one thing we could do, if we wanted to, if we're like, hey, this station, no one's riding at this station, no one's using them, we could look back and say, okay, do we want to move this station? Do we want to change this?
And is it real-time GPS?
I believe so. I think so, yeah.
Okay,
But sorry, I'm not sure on that, but I think it is.
okay.
Anything else?
No, I think it's amazing. Iola's had it for, a couple years, and I know they really, people, they've got a lot of bike trails and stuff, but yeah, it's been great for them. So I'm excited to see what it brings, and I'll go get on one and ride around.
All right.
We want you there at the launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Anything else?
Nope.
I move to approve resolution number R-19-67.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Mayor Bauer and seconded by Commissioner Downs to approve to approve resolution R-1967, a resolution to authorize the execution of 2 location agreements between the City of Coffeyville and Zagster, Inc. for 2 bicycle kiosks. Commissioner Doan?
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster?
I'm going to abstain from this one, not because I don't support it, but the Coffeyville Area Community Foundation is a partner, a big partner in with this, and I sit on that board, so I don't want any complications coming up from this for later, and I want this to continue and move on. So for that reason, I will abstain because of my involvement at the foundation at this time.
Okay.
But I do support the project. I think it's great.
Against bikes.
I don't have anything against bikes.
Commissioner Williams?
Aye.
And Mayor Bauer?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank
City
you, Jamie.
managers report.
Mayor, Commissioners, I'd just like to start off by thanking the Reawakening Group, the Community Foundation, Chamber, and Tourism for all that they're doing for the community. It is a quality of life issue. There is some more things to come, and I know with a visit to Topeka, Chuck in the future will be designing things with the idea of mobility for pedestrians. That will be a thrust for grants through KDOT, that we'll look for participation and to have biking and walking around Coffeyville in the future. So it is a good thing, and it's something that I know Chuck is already planning on in the future. So I'm excited. I want to thank the electric department. They're still waiting on some lighting to come in the latter part of next month, but they're excited and ready to go. They work very hard on that. We also have some other things that have been asked by the Reawakening and several others for hopefully around Christmas. So hopefully we'll have that to bring to the commission when we get that lined up. But there's several things going on, not only with groups to make Coffeyville a better place, but city staff. So if there's any questions that I can answer, I'll be glad to entertain those. But they are all working hard and want to close out this year on a great note.
Thank you. This time we'll take comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized by the chair, advance to the podium, state his or her name, and address in an audible tone for the record. Presentation shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. I open the podium.
Good evening, commissioners and city staff and community. I wanted to share a little bit about some past events and invite you to a new event, but I also, before I start that, wanted to say thank you to Samantha in our office. The bike share program has been a huge collaborative effort for several months on very many partners, but it was a brainchild of Sam, and she continues to make sure that our community has great programs, activities, and everything to make quality of life here good, as well as our visitors. So thank you. So I wanted to invite you to an event coming up, but first I wanted to thank the staff and the community for helping us support several events this past fall. We've had, I think, 8 events in the last several months that we've had, but 2 I wanted to highlight, 2 or 3 I want to highlight real quick. We did have our first ever Brew Fest, and I want to thank you, Commission, for approving that and allowing us to have that. We had 300 attendees, intentionally because we wanted to keep it small, which is not a small event, 300, but it was a great event, and we heard from everybody that said, more, we want to have more things like this downtown. So really great feedback, and thank you for allowing us to have that. We also had the Spooktacular just recently. Again, every year, we don't even have to really advertise much. It just grows and grows. 850 students, children, and plus their parents. So we're estimating 1,200 to 1,300 people that were downtown in Coffeyville. Wow. And not just Coffeyville. We found out there were several from the surrounding towns. So thank you, community, and everybody for coming out for that. And then just Sunday, we had the Holiday Open House, which is our annual Christmas shopping program. And again, lots of community members, but lots of out-of-town visitors as well. So we love that we bring some shoppers into Coffeyville to support us. So thank you for everybody that supported that. Our next event, though, is the Christmas Parade, December 6th. So I want to invite all the commissioners and the city to have a parade or a float entry. This will end our year for Coffeyville for 150. So it's been a great year. We've had a great celebration. It's amazing that Coffeyville has been so strong for 150 years, and so we're excited about that. But we want to end the year with a great celebration and a parade, so we're trying to get 150 entries. So community, come out, first of all, and then anybody that has thought about having a parade entry, make sure to come out and call the chamber and sign up for that. So that was all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I might add something that, about the Christmas decorations.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Thank the chamber, and thank you for doing that. And
Yes.
Electric Mike is, we're
Thank
getting
you.
started or prepared for that?
Yeah, so for the community, we've had the beautiful wreaths downtown for many, many years. Many years. And they're starting to fall apart a little bit. So we did some fundraising. The chamber put some money together, and CVR is one of our big sponsors, and a few others that donated, and we were able to raise funds to get new Christmas lights downtown. So those will be going up in the next couple weeks, and we'll be unveiling that, and we'll have brand new lights for the community to see. And that's phase 1. So hopefully next year we're going to have a 20, 30-foot tree downtown as well. So yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Sorry.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we'll move on to comments from commission or staff. and staff. I have a couple things, but I can go last.
Go ahead, you're the mayor.
Oh, well, first, I want to thank Mary Wilson for bringing this up. So she brought me an obituary for Larry Trotter of Coffeyville. He actually served on the Coffeyville City Commission and was vice mayor. I don't know the time period of when that was. It doesn't say in his obituary, but it looks like he was 82 when he passed away, and he lived a long, good life. And he, you know, you can read his obituary. It's several pages long. So but I want to tell him, you know, the family, thank you. And I actually know his granddaughters, so I just say thank you to them for sharing him with the city for the time he was on here. So the other thing I wanted to point out is we all know that the election was last week, and we'll be changing up here in the next couple of months. But I really want to, being in the position that the candidates that were out there, you know, I want to thank all of them for putting their names in the hat, because social media can be a little cruel. You know, people have a tendency to go one direction or the other, and so, you know, some people got good fanfare, some didn't get the best fanfare on social media, but I want to thank all of them for stepping out and putting their name in the hat for the commission, for the school board, for the college. You know, that really says something. I mean, there was a lot of names on those lists, and we were thankfully able to fill all those positions, and I think we're going to have a good commission. I'm going to miss the commission that we have, but you know, I just want to say thank you.
Yes.
Anything else?
Well, you took away everything I was going to say.
Well, that's a change. Anything else?
I would like to say a couple things. I'd like to congratulate the people, Commissioner Doan, Bob York, and Trey Maxon for winning this seat. You'll know what I mean in a couple months. It's a challenging endeavor. It really is. But I think all three of you guys are going to do a wonderful job. And I think you guys got some good leadership up here that'll bring you up to speed of what's going on. So I really appreciate everybody that ran. And it's you've been here. It's an eye-opening experience. It really is. And I'll save the rest till my last day.
There you go. Thank you, Chris. Anything else? All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
It's been moved by Mayor Bauer and seconded by Commissioner Williams to adjourn the meeting. Mayor Bauer?
Aye.
Commissioner Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Doan?
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.